Most people grow up believing that getting a mortgage is a sign that you finally made it, that you're stable, responsible, and officially living the dream. The idea is baked into the culture so deeply that most of us never stop to question it. We're told that renting is throwing money away, that buying is the adult choice, and that a mortgage is a path to wealth. But what if that entire belief system is backwards? What if the 30-year mortgage, the thing everyone calls an investment, is actually the single biggest financial trap most people will ever fall into? And what if the truth is that the system is designed for you to fall into it and stay in it as long as possible? In this narration, we're going to look at what the mortgage really is, why it keeps so many people broke for so long, and how to break free so you can build wealth from a place of alignment, clarity, and actual freedom instead of being chained to a system that was never created for your benefit. From the time you were young, you heard the same phrases around home ownership repeated like gospel. You heard that renting is throwing money away. You heard that buying a house builds equity. You heard that everyone should aim to own something because that's how you get ahead. But nobody ever told you where those ideas came from. Nobody tells you that the messaging around home ownership was shaped heavily by banks, lenders, and the real estate industry, all of which rely on one thing above everything else: your debt. A mortgage is not a gift. It's not a shortcut to success. It's a financial product designed to generate decades of guaranteed payments for banks. And the reason the idea of home ownership feels emotionally charged is because it was marketed that way for generations. It's not that owning a home is bad. It's that most people walk into it blind, unaware of the long-term consequences and unaware of how much the system benefits from their lack of clarity. Let's break down the real numbers in a way the industry never will. Imagine buying a $400,000 house with a 7% mortgage. That's a common scenario today. Most people think they're borrowing $400,000, but over 30 years, they actually end up paying closer to $650,000 once you include interest. That's not a rounding error. That's $250,000 in extra payments for the privilege of owning a home you haven't fully paid off for decades. And banks love this, because almost nobody actually stays in a home for 30 years. They move, they refinance, they upgrade. And every time they do, the bank resets the loan and gets the interest-heavy early years all over again. The homeowner feels like they're moving up in life. The bank knows they're starting the debt cycle from scratch. Now imagine living in that home. The mortgage is only part of the cost, yet most people treat it as the full cost. But the reality is very different. A home comes with property taxes, homeowner's insurance, HOA fees, maintenance, repairs, appliances, yard work, roof replacements, a new AC every 10 years, plumbing issues, termites, flooding, water heaters, electrical problems, and all the little things that add up year after year. None of these expenses are optional, and they show up whether you're ready for them or not. When you average all of them together, the true cost of owning a $400,000 home is around $1,200 to $1,500 every single month, even when the home is paid off. And yet, people argue that their $2,000 mortgage is cheaper than rent, conveniently ignoring everything else that homeownership actually demands. Now add the illusion of appreciation. People love to say their home went up in value. But the average home in America appreciates at around 3 to 4% each year. And inflation also averages around the same, which means, for most people, the home isn't gaining value. It's just inflating with everything else. The house you bought for $400,000 that is now supposedly worth $550,000 didn't actually earn you $150,000. Groceries, cars, healthcare, insurance, and wages all moved in the same direction. And when you try to sell your home, you then lose 6% to realtor commissions, plus closing costs, plus repairs, plus staging, plus concessions, plus taxes. Many people don't walk away with nearly as much as they think. Meanwhile, renters who invest the money they're not spending on repairs, property taxes, and surprise bills are quietly building wealth. There are countless examples of renters who use the flexibility and lower responsibility to put money into index funds, savings, and side businesses. There's a well-known case of someone who rented for 8 years while investing aggressively, building a $250,000 portfolio in that time. His homeowner friend spent those same years paying for an HVAC, a roof, a water heater, and countless repairs. One person built wealth. The other maintained a house. That's the difference between freedom and obligation. But the mortgage trap isn't just financial, it's psychological. A mortgage doesn't just tie up your money, it ties up your identity. You start thinking you can't leave your job, you can't take risks, you can't move cities, you can't slow down, you can't pivot. You're locked into a payment that stretches decades into the future. And whether you realize it or not, that changes the energy of your entire life. It changes your creativity, your confidence, and your nervous system. Debt has a vibration. It keeps you in a lower frequency, where fear becomes louder than intuition, and survival becomes louder than inspiration. When you're locked into a mortgage that's too big, your entire life orbits around maintaining that payment. That's not freedom, that's not abundance, that's not wealth. That is captivity dressed up as responsibility. Renting, when done consciously, is freedom. Renting gives you mobility, clarity, predictability, and the ability to pivot. Renting gives you the space to say yes to opportunities instead of calculating whether a mortgage payment allows it. Renting is not throwing money away. Renting is paying to live without signing away your next 30 years. Renting gives you the ability to move cities, change careers, step into alignment, or take advantage of opportunities without being chained to a property. Renting gives you mental bandwidth. Home ownership often takes it. And mental bandwidth is wealth. Creativity is wealth. Flexibility is wealth. You don't build abundance from a place of constant obligation. You build abundance from a place of spaciousness. Does that mean buying is bad? Absolutely not. Buying can be the smartest decision you ever make when the conditions are right and the decision is aligned. Buying is smart when you plan to stay long-term, when the home is far below your means, when the payment is comfortable even in a bad year, when interest rates are low, when your lifestyle thrives on stability, when you buy a home that supports your energy instead of draining it. When you're not buying for status or ego or pressure but for alignment and clarity. Buying is powerful when you're prepared. It's destructive when you're not. So how do you break free from the mortgage trap? First, you stop believing the myth that refinancing is always smart. Most refinances restart the loan and benefit the bank, not you. Second, avoid upgrading just because you can. Upgrading is the #1 way people reset their mortgage timeline and stay in debt forever. Third, avoid buying at the top of your budget. Banks will approve you for more than is healthy. Fourth, calculate your true cost of ownership so you're not lying to yourself about what the home really costs. Fifth, build wealth outside your home. Your home is not an investment. Your investments are investments. Sixth, protect your energy by refusing to buy a home that traps you emotionally or financially. Seventh, create a plan for your life that isn't dictated by a payment schedule. Now let's talk about the metaphysical layer, the part most people never consider. Debt carries emotional weight. A mortgage represents a long-term energetic contract. When you sign your name on a 30-year line, you're making a promise not just financially, but psychologically. Most people don't realize they're tying their future creativity, their future choices, and their future energy to one physical location. Abundance requires fluidity. When your life force is tied up in obligation, your awareness shrinks. You can't see opportunities. You can't feel inspired. You're stuck in maintenance mode. Renting, on the other hand, when chosen consciously, creates emotional space. You're not tied to a property. You're not tied to a payment. You can move as you grow. You can evolve your environment as you evolve yourself. You can follow alignment instead of trying to survive long enough to make a mortgage feel worth it. Freedom is the highest wealth frequency. Flexibility is the highest wealth frequency. Presence is the highest wealth frequency. These states open your mind, strengthen your intuition, and raise your ability to create and attract. When your environment supports your alignment instead of demanding your obedience, everything in your life expands. The truth is simple. A mortgage is not good or bad. Renting is not good or bad. Both are tools. Both are paths. The real question is whether the path you're on expands your life or compresses it. Whether it opens your future or limits it. Whether it increases your freedom or decreases it. Whether you feel alive in it or trapped by it. That's the part most people never consider, because they're too busy following a script that wasn't written with their freedom in mind. As you move through your financial journey, clarity becomes your superpower. When you understand the system rather than react to it, you take back your power. When you know the full cost of ownership, you make decisions that match your path. And when you live from alignment instead of pressure, your wealth grows faster than any mortgage ever could. Remember this: real wealth is not found in a house. Real wealth is found in freedom, mobility, clarity, creativity, and peace. And for those of you who want to go deeper into this, there's a space where we explore the emotional, psychological, and energetic side of money in a way that goes far beyond what fits into one narration. It's inside the Luxona Vault, and it's there for you whenever you feel called to understand money, not just logically, but spiritually, emotionally, and energetically, so you can build wealth from a place of alignment rather than fear. You're never required to join. It's just there for those who feel ready to upgrade their entire financial identity. You are not throwing money away by renting. You are not failing if you don't buy. You are not behind if you choose freedom over obligation. When you do buy, make sure you buy in alignment. Make sure you buy with clarity. Make sure you buy because it supports your soul, not because the world told you it was the responsible thing to do. Wealth is not a mortgage. Wealth is the ability to move, to choose, to pivot, to stay aligned, and to follow the life that's calling you. Welcome to Luxona, where millionaires are made.